Your website is the single most important promotional tool that you have for your business. Yet why is it that not all businesses understand this? Well, according to Forbes magazine, there's 196 active million websites as of March 2025. So if you don't have a website or your website is not as professional as what it should be, then you need to know my top 10 compelling reasons why your website is more important than ever, and the 10 must-have inclusions to make a great website. So your business can not only provide a good user experience, but will also help you sell more of your products and services in any market sector. So make sure you watch this entire video, as this will help your business tenfold. My name is Richard G-Cornell, and this channel is dedicated to helping people create their own destinies through business. And I've been in business for 30 years, helping brands sell more of their products and services, and this has given me a deep understanding of how to start, scale, and promote businesses effectively. But most importantly, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your business journey whilst enjoying it along the way. So let's get into it. Here are the 10 reasons your website is more important than ever. Reason number 1, credibility and trust. Now, if you think that potential clients don't judge your business based on how good your website is, then think again. I can tell you from experience as owning a digital marketing agency for almost 30 years that your business will be judged at that very moment someone arrives on the homepage of your website. And if they don't like what they see, then they're gone and they're off to one of your competitors. And it doesn't matter how experienced your business is or how good you are at what you do. You have to remember that the first interaction a user has with your business is more often than not when they land on your website. And the sad thing is, no matter what you think, you're going to be judged accordingly. They will look at your website and question everything about your business if their experience on your website is not good. So your credibility literally starts with their website experience. So that's why the first point here is vital that you understand this. Reason number 2. It's your 24/7 information hub. Now, your website is your 24/7 voice to market, right? It doesn't sleep, it doesn't have sick days, it doesn't go on holidays. Your website is your business's sales agent, and its job is to provide an ongoing stream of information about your business to anyone who arrives on your website at any time of day. Your website has the ability to constantly showcase your products and services, and the better your website is at clearly showcasing information about you and your business, well, the more opportunities that you're going to have for inquiries and sales. So think of this when you want to demonstrate the strengths of your brand, as this will be the first touch point for potential customers. Reason number 3, customer convenience. Now, when you add up how much time it takes out of your day to answer consumer inquiries, or when you have to provide information about your products and services, you'll quickly appreciate the time and cost saving to your business your website can provide. If you're able to provide easy to digest information to users who wish to learn more about your business at any time that suits them, and just as a start, you can implement a section of frequently asked questions, or FAQs, right? It's what we call them, which provide answers to the most frequently asked questions. And additionally, FAQs not only answer questions, they also help in your search engine optimization efforts, I should have said, which ultimately helps you get higher rankings on search results, which then gives you more opportunities for sales and inquiries as well. Reason number 4, allows you to be found online. Very important. What is the first thing someone does when they need a product or service? They look at Google, right? And they perform a search. But not only do they perform a search, what they do with that search is, we also know that the majority of these searches come from people who either need it to get a quote or find a price for a product, or they've made a decision to buy something and now they're looking for a website or a business that can provide that product or service. And when we refer to this type of buyer, we say that they're in what we call the consideration phase, right? And this means that they've made a conscious decision in their purchasing journey. And when we look at the potential buyers who fall into this category, we know possible sales conversion rates are much higher than other consumers who may have seen an ad in their social feeds. So if your website is not visible in search results, then your business is missing out on a heap of potential inquiries or sales. And this is where having a website is absolutely vital. Reason number 5, captures leads and inquiries. Imagine having a sales agent who can take inquiries all day, every day, without having to pay them. And then imagine if you could take consumer inquiries after hours. Well, this is where your website forms play a significant role. If a user finds your website and then spends enough time learning more about your products and services, then the next natural thing for them to want to do is to make an inquiry, right, to your business. So your website is now able to collect consumer information, and this is where your website becomes so important. And not only for that initial interaction, but also in its ability to use that consumer information to stay in touch with them post-sale. But the most important thing to consider here is that when you collect consumer data, you're not relying on capturing this data from third-party platforms. You get to keep their data and you get to use their data free of charge for future campaigns. So just be mindful of how valuable this information is to your brand. Reason number 6, showcases your brand. If your business has a recognizable brand, then it's important to carry your branding through to your website. And as I said before, when I referred to how your business will be judged based on how good your website looks, well, this is where consistent branding is vital to your business. If a user can see that you care about your brand by how consistent it is across a number of both online and offline formats, the more opportunities that you're going to have for a more positive experience when the user makes contact with your business. Your website can provide that consumer connection instantly, and this goes a long way in the sales process journey. So it's so important that your brand is portrayed in its best light possible. And if you want to see how this works, then just do a quick search online just to see brands who understand this, right? How they carry it through to their websites. They ensure that their websites include the correct design elements, even down to the uniqueness of their messaging and content. So this is your chance to showcase your brand professionally with no limits or boundaries. Reason number 7, gives you an edge over your competitors. If you can make your website better than your competition, I should say, then you're going to stand out from the crowd, and it will also give your business a competitive edge when it comes time to quoting or selling your products and services. If the user has a good experience on your website, then they're going to remember that and reward you handsomely for it. And it doesn't take much to outperform your competitors. It just comes down to having a sound website strategy, right? So just remember, as a starting point, to make your website better than your competition, your website doesn't have to be the best online. I'm not saying that, but if you can make your website better than your competitors, then you're well on your way for far more positive outcomes here. Reason number 8, it's your 24/7 marketing tool. When a business promotes themselves via way of marketing or advertising, they usually all drive consumers back to a website or to a landing page, right? And they do this because it's one thing to capture the attention of an audience, but it's a whole nother thing to get that user to make an inquiry or make a sale. And this is why your website plays the most important role in the sales process. If you can encourage users to get more information on your website, then you now have a captive audience. You will be able to give them so much more information and many more reasons to buy your products and services that you simply can't do with marketing or advertising, okay? And your website, it can do this all day, every day, and also when your business sleeps, which is so important. So think of this when you want to do a promo, as this is where your next campaign will be able to produce unrivaled results for your business. Reason number 9, gives you information about your customers. So important. We are so blessed to have the ability to learn more about our audience via way of website analytics, right? And by having Google Analytics connected to your website, you can learn so much more about your ideal customer. You can now understand everything from their geographical locations to their age, their gender, to how well they interact on your website. You can tell how long they've spent on your website and what pages they've actually left your website from. So by having all this analytical data, you can now see additional opportunities which you just can't get anywhere else. And this not only teaches you more about your customers, it also helps you in your advertising, your marketing efforts. So you can always strive to give your audience what they want, and this alone is worth its weight in gold. Which brings me to reason number 10, helps your business grow. And as I touched on previously, right, your ability to learn more about your ideal customer through your website analytics will help your business scale and grow. You'll be able to see what additional products or services that you can add to provide more opportunities for sales. But you'll also be able to enjoy more users visiting your website as your website gets more clicks and impressions. And by this I mean, if you can see that month on month you are attracting more visitors to your website, then the more visitors you get, the more opportunities for sales that happen as well. And as your website grows, I can assure you that your business will grow as a result, okay? And the more times your website is displayed in search results, which is what we call impressions, then you'll enjoy more clicks, and this is where the compounding effect takes place. Your website has the ability to grow and your business will grow as a result. And you can also see the synergies here, right? Really important. Now, if you've gotten this far in the video and you can see the importance of what a website can do for your business, then please stick with me, because the next part, I'm going to explain everything you need to know how to have a killer website that converts every time. Now, here are my top 10 must-have inclusions to make a great website. Which brings me to my first step. Step number 1, clear messaging. Now, in my own agency, I see this happen a lot when we take over websites from other agencies, and the thing that stands out the most for us is when we see websites that don't communicate their uniqueness and messaging effectively enough. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to showcase your unique selling proposition or USP in the top section of the homepage. You need to quickly provide the website user a snapshot of who you are and what your business sells. And lastly, how it can be a benefit to that potential customer. And it doesn't need to be fancy or with a heap of animation or visuals or something like that. Just remember that website users stay on websites for a handful of seconds, not minutes. So in order for you to grab their attention, you need to do this effectively with wording and imagery to support the wording, similar to an ad. So my advice here is to come up with a USP that resonates and explains to your audience exactly what they can expect from your business. Step number 2, user-friendly navigation. How many times have you been on websites, and I don't just mean crappy little websites, right? I mean big branded websites, right? That you can't find what you're looking for because their website is either poorly designed or the information is just too hard to find. I know this happens a lot, and we see it all the time. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of providing a good user experience for the user. And I don't just mean in the content or design, I mean in how easy a website is to navigate or find what you're looking for easily. Your ability to keep that user on your website for longer, it's all going to come down to website navigation by having buttons or pages which are clearly defined in positions on the page that naturally draws your eyes to that important part of where you want them to click on. So in my agency, even before our design team gets started, we get our strategists to create a site plan of where all the call to actions will be located, how information will be displayed in their purest form, and where we want to drive the user to throughout the website. If you can start with your site plan first and you can be confident that each page or section encourages additional page views, then your website will be halfway there on its success rate. And after you create the plan, we then apply the design and the content to accompany the plan. Your website shouldn't just be pretty pictures. It needs to be seriously strategized to ensure that the user is front and center in your planning. And remember, if the user can't find what they're looking for in a couple of clicks, then they're gone. They're never going to come back. And I always advise people to research other websites across a variety of market sectors just to see what you think makes for a good user experience. And then you go from there. Step number 3, designed for mobile. So important. Now, these days, more than 63% of people browse websites from their mobile devices, and this figure is growing each year. So if your website is not designed for mobile, then you can forget about everything else that I've mentioned so far in this video. I cannot emphasize enough how important being optimized for mobile really is for the success of your website. Now, not only is it important for users, but also for Google, really important, as Google will penalize your website if it doesn't follow best practices for mobile devices, and they penalize you by not displaying your website anywhere close to the top of the landing page's search results, which ultimately hinder your ability to attract inquiries and sales. In my agency, we always create 2 different versions of a website, one for desktop and then one for mobile. And we don't just make them responsive, meaning how the layout of the website can adjust to different size screens. We also create different menu options so people don't have to scroll for hours just to find what they want. That's so frustrating. So when you're creating your navigation plan prior to designing the website, be sure to create a navigation plan specifically for mobile. It's so important. Step number 4, fast loading times. How long would you wait on a website homepage for? 5 seconds, 10 seconds, more? Well, I can tell you from experience that if you have to wait for more than 1 to 2 seconds for a page to load, then you'll lose that website user to another competing website. Literally, a 1 second delay in your page load speed can increase bounce rates by 123%, which ultimately means that those people will leave your website immediately, even before they've had a chance to see what you even can provide them. And again, as I stated in the previous points, your website needs to load quickly. And there are many ways to do this, right? By having well-optimized images, animations which load in the background, or simple text which immediately captures the user's attention. Additionally, if your website takes too long to load, Google again will penalize you for this, and they won't rank you anywhere near the top. You have to understand that your website should be designed not only for the consumer, but more importantly for Google search engines. Why? Because if Google sees your website as a website which follows all of its best practices, then they're going to reward you for it with higher page rankings in search results, which again provides more opportunities for inquiries and sales. You see where I'm going with this, right? Now, again, I'll use my agency as an example. We put a huge focus on page load speed as part of our search engine optimization efforts for our clients, because every little element that you can address when building your website will add up in the long run for a very good customer experience. Step number 5. Build with SEO in mind. In my agency, I constantly tell my clients the importance of SEO, or search engine optimization as it's commonly referred to. Now, SEO essentially is the practice of trying to get your website ranking in the organic results under the top 4 ads on a search results page. And Google doesn't discriminate between big brands or small brands. Google will reward any business who can provide the best user experience for a website visitor, right? And if you can follow good SEO practices from uniquely written content, fast page load speeds, built with mobile in mind, to effective metadata, the list goes on, right? Just to make sure that you build your website with SEO in mind, and this will be a constant work in progress because as your website grows, so will the need to keep your website optimized. And my advice to you is to investigate what SEO is all about and how it will positively impact your website and its ability to get ranked higher on search page results. But the main reason why I'm placing a lot of importance on SEO, it's because if you can capture more than 50% of your inquiries or sales from free organic traffic from your website, then you won't have to worry about constantly feeding the advertising beast, which is far more expensive with conversion rates which are much lower than free organic traffic. Step number 6, professional design. Now, it's so funny when I look back to when we were creating websites in the late 1990s to how we create them today. It's as if everything's done on a full 360. And what I mean by this is, back in the 90s, websites were simple in design and simple to navigate. But as more software programs came on the market, we felt the need to design websites using a heap of animation, graphics, which provided movement and gave the user a more exciting experience. But fast forward 30 years, now it's all a simple yet effective design with minimal animation that can increase page load speed times. So today's consumers, they're not impressed by websites that are animated to the hilt. They want to access information quickly and locate what they want in shorter amounts of time. And it's so funny when I explain this to the younger members of our design team who weren't even born when I had my agency back then. You know, we were creating websites how we were doing them back in the day. You need to keep your design professional, stay in line with your corporate branding, use colors which complement your market sector and audience, use imagery which is relevant, and not just stock imagery. That's not that great, right? But most importantly, provide a design which makes it for the user experience pleasurable. You need to design with the customer in mind. And as they say, less is more. So just remember that when designing your website. Step number 7, secure and compliant. These days, security is so important, and as we encourage potential customers to spend more time on our websites and also provide personal information, it is so vital that your website is able to provide a safe and secure environment for a website user. Really important today. We cannot expect people, right, anymore to provide personal information like their name, their email, phone address. Just at the very least, if we don't provide a platform which can protect their data. And consumers need to feel safe, because if they don't, then they're going to leave. It's as simple as that. Not to mention what the ramifications will be should their data be compromised just because you didn't provide a secure platform. So anything that you can do to provide a safe and secure experience, from secure website hosting to domain encryption, secure purchasing, up-to-date privacy policies, etc., right, will go a long way in showcasing that your website and brand is worthy of a potential customer's time and ability to part with their personal information. And when I say this, I mean that it's not a nice to have, right? But it's an absolute must. You need to have that security on your website. Step number 8, good quality content. Now, what's the buzzword at the moment? Content is king, right? Well, it absolutely is. Good quality content has the ability to connect your audience in a very positive way. And when I say good quality content, I mean content which is written with the user in mind and is written professionally. You should craft your content around your audience, meaning your content should make a user feel that they've arrived on a website which understands them and makes them feel confident in your business, okay? And what is even more important here, it's to have all the content on your website written uniquely without content duplication, as Google will penalize you for this. You also need to be careful that you have not copied your content from other websites, as this will also be a black mark against your brand in a whole number of ways. So if you can write your content with descriptive headlines, emotive descriptions, and quality supporting pages of text to support your mission statement and product or service offering, then you will have every chance of resonating with your audience in ways that you can only imagine. So if you look at the best ads, right, of all time, one thing they all do well is they connect with their desired audience. It's not just about trying to fill a website with a heap of words that don't mean much, right, just to have them there. It's all about captivating your audience and content that means something to them and provides them with a snapshot of who you are and what your business can ultimately provide them. If you can make your audience feel comfortable with your brand, then this is where the magic really happens. Creating memorable content is key to giving you an edge over your competitors. Step number 9, highly visible call to actions. Have you ever been to a website and you can't find where to contact them? So annoying, right? Or their call to actions are buried so deep that you just give up and you leave. Well, I can say that we see this happen a lot, and I don't mean to sound rude here when I say this, but when you are designing your website or developing the structure of your website, You need to assume that anyone who arrives on your website is done. Yeah, I said it, done, right? Why? Because you need to ensure that your call to actions are in prominent places throughout your website to make it easy for a user to contact you. There is absolutely no point in only having one call to action on a page. You need to have them scattered throughout your website to make sure that the user can find them easily enough. Remember, the name of the game here is to get inquiries and sales. And if you make this difficult for the user, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, and all that hard work from creating good quality content, sound design, etc., it's all going to go out the window. So be sure to make your call to actions easy to locate, stand out from other information, and are repeated on every page to make the user journey seamless. And lastly, step number 10, update content regularly. By updating the content in your website regularly will show Google that you are constantly trying to improve your website for the user, right? Really important. And Google rewards businesses or websites that do this. And I don't mean that you have to replace the content on your page every month just for the sake of it, right? What I mean is that you should add new content to your website on a regular basis, from news articles and blogs to adding videos, or by updating content on your website that isn't resonating or performing as well as what it should be. If you can show the web users that you value their time on your website and you are on a quest to keep them up to date with important information, that will help them with their own journey, and you will enjoy higher search results and organic listings, and also more users spending more time on your website, which again means more opportunities for inquiries and sales. So keeping your content fresh will keep your website relevant for the user, and this is so important. So the key takeaways here are: implement clear messaging, create user-friendly navigation, design your website with mobile in mind, make your website fast loading, really important, apply sound SEO techniques, use professional design techniques, provide a secure and safe environment, use good quality content, apply highly visible call to actions, and lastly, update your website content regularly. Now this wraps up my video today. If you'd like to learn more about marketing strategies for your business, then be sure to watch some other videos in my business marketing and sales playlist, as there's heaps of good quality content that can really help you in promoting your business effectively. And let me know in the comments below if you need some pointers on how to make your website succeed. I'd love to help. Also, please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, as I have a heap more coming. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.